welcome in. No big like rah 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 rah. Jason, what did you jam to in like high school and college, man? Were you jamming like an old pickup truck and some Hank Williams, Merle Haggard?
Yeah, pretty much.
George Jones.
George Strait at that time. My dad was a huge George Jones fan. So if I wanted to be like him, I guess I would have been rocking out to George Jones. But I don't think you can really rock out to George Jones.
Some of them songs, man, are so sad.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that hung a wreath upon the door.
He stopped loving her today.
I know, man. That's a good. And I guess it was because she passed away or something, right?
Yeah, she died, and so that, it was that he loved her all the way to the end, even though.
Well, I love him after the end, man.
Well, yeah, but this was a.
Yeah. I don't know the full story. All I know is he stopped loving her today.
Yeah.
There you go, Jason.
Go.
I can sing a mean family tradition. That's one unknown. I always try to give you one unknown of Rob Hip each week. Brother, I used to do karaoke. And I could sing a Hank Will. I'd get that whole place going back in the day, man. I was on a cruise ship, and they have the karaoke. Yeah, there ain't really nothing. You ever been on a cruise?
Yep.
It's I enjoyed it, but if I ever did it again, honestly, I'd want to go on like these Christian groups get together and they do that. I would want to go on one of those.
Yeah, we went for our honeymoon and we really enjoyed it. We stayed in a suite where we had a balcony and stuff like that, so we kind of could stay to ourselves and then when we got to the port or whatever, we could get off. But they've gotten so, I don't know. From what I've read and what I've seen, some of these cruise lines have gotten so trashy, with everything that's going on there. And they're really trying to clean that up because they've really gotten a bad reputation about what's going on these cruise ships and the parties, just rowdy music all the time, just blaring. And maybe that's a sign I'm getting too old.
Turn down the music. Dad, it's only on 4. Put it on 0.4.
But they're making concerted efforts to really try to clean up their image to make it seem more family friendly and things like that. Ever since we were married, 9 months after we were married, we had our first child. So we've always been family oriented. So it's hard to go on a cruise nowadays if you have a family, unless you do the Disney cruises, which those are, we're not in a financial bracket to be able to do that.
Yeah, you gotta be super VIP. I'm gonna adjust the camera real quick, Jay. I know Joshua normally helps me, but I haven't taught him this one yet. Look, this is live production right here.
Way to go, Rob.
Live production. I'm wearing black today, so you don't see how chubby I am. I've actually lost quite a bit of weight, man. I don't know if I've told you that. I've lost 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
You look it.
Black helps out. Good color today, too,
I don't know if that's
Jason.
intentional or it depends on if that's intentional or not.
There we go. Let's see if it works now. Let's see. See the little fuzzy right here? You see this guy? This little marker here. If it gets real fuzzy, it's because I use these cameras for broadcasting on Friday nights for our football stuff.
Yeah.
And I manually adjust them for the show, but I have them on automatic adjustment at the stadiums because the lighting is so off there, and it's hard to manipulate that stuff. And I have the settings down, but sometimes when I come back, I've got to reset them to manual. Sometimes I don't target it in just right. And I think it's because of our black today. It was throwing it off because we're looking so fit.
No, I had to wear my shorts today because, last week I had to wear my suit.
Yeah, it's like a
funeral. I've got to go today, take my mother to the doctor this afternoon, so I've got to get out of here and head that way and take her to Houston. And so I just thought, shoot, I'm just throwing these shorts on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, after 10 years, you get to do that, Jason.
Maybe.
I've been to some churches, like during the week, they got like a strict dress code. And I was like, well, man, y'all need to. I'm all about excellence, but you know what? The Lord would also probably say, hey, man, it's hot outside. Throw some shorts on, I had a buddy. I'm not judging, okay? I'm not judging at all. So I always have to say that. I had a friend growing up in their religious beliefs, and they're going to heaven. They believe in the Lord and love Him. They're one of my best friends, but they were not allowed to wear shorts growing up. And he did. I remember one time I saw him in shorts. I said, "Brother, you better put some pants on, man." My eyes were, I got white legs, but that boy, good night, man. The paper company used him to adjust their paper color. That's how white that dude's legs were. And I give him a hard time about it to this day. But I would go play basketball at their church, and the first thing I noticed is, it's 90-something. They're all wearing long pants, sweatpants and stuff. And I said, dude, how do y'all wear this? They're, oh, well, it's just part of our belief. And I didn't knock it. But I knocked the fact that it was like 90-something degrees outside, and I was the only dude in there wearing shorts, and I felt out of place. But I'll never forget this. And let me fast forward and tell it. Well, you know how I am. I bounce around on my stories, Jason. But they were so accepting of me. Some of the nicest people, and many of them I became friends with. I still talk to this day. Well, it turns out this is the United Pentecostal Church International, UPCI. And I went to some UPCI churches growing up. Great people. And I always say it's just different flavors. If you look at a plate of food, here's how I've always described it, Jason. Now, if you're vegetarian, you're going to have to pretend that you like meat right now, right? I've always said this, and I explained it to somebody one day, and I know you'll have a different take on this, which is okay, but this is the way that I think of it. That you think of, I think of this. I've always thought of Christ, and I don't want to say Jesus is a steak, but just for this sake of an argument, I've always said, think about a plate of food. I said, everybody likes that steak. Man, that steak is good. It's the best part of a meal. If you're having a steak dinner, what do you eat? You're getting the steak, right? But some people like mashed potatoes. Some people like carrots. Some people may like a baked potato. But as long as you're in at the meat of that meal. And so that's the way I explained it when I was growing up. Now, theologically, I don't know if that lines with anything. But I always said that growing up because someone asked, why are there so many different denominations?
Yeah.
And I said, well, sometimes people want to experience, they have their own way that they experience the Lord in their personal relationship. Each of us have a unique relationship with the Lord, but it's unique in many ways that we serve one God. But it's unique sometimes in the way that maybe we choose to worship the Lord. Maybe we we have a prayer closet. Jeremy here at our church has told me that he has a specific area that he has built in his garage. That's where he goes to pray. So Kenny and I became, he's one of my best friends, man. But I'll never forget that. And what's cool is the reason I brought up UPCI is the pastor of that church at the time in Austin was New Life, and great church too. I visited over there. There's some wonderful people. But his name is Pastor Bernard. He is now, it's kind of like, I guess the Southern Baptist probably has a hierarchy of leadership, right? I would assume.
Sort of.
In a way. In the UPCI, they have like a general council and a superintendent over all of the UPCI churches. And Pastor Bernard is over all of the UPCI churches across the globe now.
Wow.
And I got to know him, and he's a really nice man. And they're just good people. They choose to experience the Lord and the way that they worship in a different way, in a different style. And I'm going to say this: if it wasn't for Kenny, that's my friend, by the way, Kenny. If you're watching, I'm making fun of your legs, man. But if it wasn't for Kenny, there's always different components of faith. When you come to know the Lord, you can always. Many people can pinpoint one thing. Maybe it was this. For me, it was multiple. It was, I remember this person and this seed that was planted, and Pastor Edwards, who ultimately led me to Christ. I'll never forget. That's why I got a picture of him on my computer in my office. But Kenny was one of those in my life, a friend of faith, that has kept me so strong to the Lord in my down times. Kenny is that guy that is all, and you know why? Because he leads by example.
Right.
And I told him one day, I said, Kenny, if I ever hear you say a bad word, I may fall out of the faith. I was giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
And of course I wouldn't. But he said, what are you talking about? I said, I've never heard you say a bad word before, man. And he goes, well, I say plenty of them. You just don't hear me. and I said, well, don't say it around me. And it's just a testament for me and for Kenny how strong he is in his faith. Not just because he doesn't say. There's a lot of people in the world that don't cuss that aren't Christians. Not cussing ain't going to get you to heaven. What's going to get you to heaven is a relationship with Jesus Christ. But Kenny has been that guy for me. Yeah. And I know all of us have a story like that we can probably connect to.
Yeah, I think, our mission in life is to scatter seed. That's what the Lord said. We scatter seed when those seeds, and we never know where those seeds may land, and how the little action that we do will impact somebody for eternity. They may look back, and I was talking to Dr. Jones, our friend, goes here and been a doctor for many, many years, and served in this community. Also served on staff at Texas Tech University. But he came in like yesterday, and he showed me this letter that he got in the mail, and it actually was addressed to his old address, but he ended up getting it. It eventually got to him, and he showed it to me, and I read it, and it was from one of his old patients long ago, telling him thank you and how much what he did and what he said, the advice that he gave her throughout, and he delivered some of her children, and she wrote this long letter about how much that he meant to her. And he said, of course, he was just weeping when he read it, and he was quick to write her back to tell her how much that letter meant to him. But it's like I said, we go through life and we scatter seed. We don't know who we're touching, and then years later down the road, like you said, the little actions make a huge difference.
They do. I think a lot last week, when we came on, it was a very somber morning as the country was reeling over the death of Charlie Kirk, the murder of Charlie Kirk. And I've been keeping an eye and reading stuff on social media. And one thing that I've noticed, Jason, especially working in ministry. Now, if we're believers, we're all ministers in our own right. We are. If you're a Christian, you're ministering to somebody. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you need to be.
Right.
And I was thinking a lot. I've been more aware of what I've been reading. Before, I would just kind of scroll through. What do they call that? Doom scrolling. That's that's the word that vibes with the young. With the young people nowadays. See, I'm trying to throw it all into one.
Way to go, man! I like it. Bringing out the youth.
Yeah, I need it, man. But there's been a lot of things I've been reading that have been popping up, and one thing that I've been noticing, and maybe it's the algorithm, so many people have came to know the Lord through that man,
mm-hmm.
and people that didn't agree with him. I was reading comment after comment saying, I didn't agree with you at first.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them even said, there's still a lot of things I don't agree,
mm-hmm.
but one thing that I do agree is your relationship with Jesus Christ. And I saw several that said, the way that you presented yourself and talked about the Lord has led me into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Wow. All I can think of, if I want to hear the words when I get to heaven one day, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
Man, and those are the seeds right there,
exactly.
right, Jason?
And I think you said something very important there, is that we don't always have to agree on everything. Unity is not everybody believing the same thing. And whether it's denominations in church, whether it's political viewpoints, but unity is setting those differences aside and coming together for the good. That's unity. It's even in a family. Think about a family, your family, my family, every family, you have different viewpoints and different approaches to raising children, raising animals. We talked about that earlier before the show. We have different viewpoints on where we're going to go to church, and there can be a lot of room for disagreement. But what love does is set those things aside and say, you know what? We may not see things eye to eye on this issue, but that's okay. I still love you. And I think we have to get back to that as a nation and as a people, to let love and unity supersede our differences.
I was talking to a friend of mine, another friend, and he goes to a different denomination church, and I remember as a child growing up, he said, well, if this doesn't happen to you, then you're not really in a relationship
mm-hmm.
with the Lord.
Yeah.
And he told me straight up, he goes, and you ain't going to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that stung, and it hurt me, and it made me start asking a lot of questions. And everyone, of course, came back and said that's not true. And we were young. We were in junior high.
Yeah, I know. That's.
But you mentioned something a second ago about how, we may not always agree, and that's okay. We have to do everything with love. Well, the way that this friend approached was not from when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
So a couple years later, he remembered what he had told me, and he said, "Hey, man,
that's cool."
He goes, "I was wrong."
Yeah.
And he said, "The Lord loves you, and I love you." And he goes, "I'm sorry, I was wrong."
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of being wrong or right. It's a matter of just loving people, man. And now I will say this though, that there is a wrong and a right when it comes to Jesus Christ.
Right.
And there is a wrong and a right that if you don't follow the Lord, and we have to stand on that truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I was talking a few weeks ago. Dodie Osteen had passed away, and she's inspired me. I've always loved praying. I've always loved prayer, but that woman, I want to strive to be like the man version of Dodie Osteen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Because I just want to. And Catherine inspires me here at our church, the way she loves on people and prays for people, and as I continue on in my journey working in ministry, I just feel this strong calling to pray for people. And I'm being so mindful of that now because, I mean, it just, one, it connects people to the Lord, but two, it shows compassion and love. And I was at HEB the other day, and a good friend of mine, Cactus Jack, and he wouldn't mind me saying his name, but how do you forget a name like that, right?
Yeah, really.
And Cactus that's kind of cool. Hey, Cactus. I want to have a nickname like that. But he had a stroke. Jason, about 6 months ago, and someone had called me and said, "Hey, Cactus had a stroke." I said, "Man, I hate to hear that." And I didn't know where he was at or anything, and I hadn't heard any updates. And I had just crossed paths with this man randomly. He redid a lot of the landscaping here downtown.
Yeah, I've seen his truck.
Beautiful landscaping, kind of
Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest. That's where I was looking for sure. Yeah. And anyways, I saw him, and then we talked, and I remember in that day, and I'm not saying this because anything that I did, but I just felt a calling to pray for him then. And you know what I saw about that man that was so humble? As we prayed, he took his hat off. And it's just a sign of reverence to the Lord, something simple. And it doesn't mean that if you don't take your hat off that you're not a Christian, or if you wear a hat in a sanctuary, these are, wear a hat. I'd rather see our sanctuary filled up with people wearing baseball caps and nobody in there at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it just showed a sign of reverence.
Yeah.
And where I'm getting at with this is I saw him again, and I just felt this undeniable desire that I needed to pray for this man. And we prayed. And Joshua Harris has been one that has taught me this. And you know Josh now. Josh taught me, he said, man, if you're going to tell someone you're going to pray for them, do it. He said, stop and do it. He said, because literally from the moment we wake up to the moment we should go to sleep, it should just be a long prayer all day anyways.
Yeah, that is right.
And you taught me, Jason, see, you don't realize the things that you've taught me. You taught me about the importance of just walking and praying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, man, I've seen a lot of really great things happen through the power of prayer. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, that's our communication line with the Lord. That's all we've got is through prayer.
Yes.
So,
and it's amazing what God will bring to your attention when you are in that mindset of, like Paul says, pray continuously. Well, how do you pray continuously? That doesn't mean to be sitting there with your eyes closed and your hands properly folded. He's saying as you go, pray continually, pray, look and see and notice the things that God places in your mind's eye and as you throughout your life, and use that as an opportunity to commune with the Lord and lift up your brothers in Christ.
Well, we are here. We want to welcome everybody in. Nice, long opening monologue today. I always enjoy Jason on a Thursday. We always have so much fun, and we get to share so many wonderful things. It's episode number 594. Hey, next Friday, brother, but you're going to not be here, and that's okay. And I don't want you coming up here because it is your day off. So next Friday is our 600th episode.
That is great, man.
We are having a special, and the community's invited. So mark your calendars.
Here we go.
We're doing a live show from Cafe Texan.
Cafe Texan.
So we're going to be on location.
That is awesome.
For our hometown spotlight. But today, still a great day, 594.
594.
Not 600.
Building up to it.
But we are here on episode 594. Big thank you, as always, to Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. Please go by and see my good friend Elliot. He's supported us since day one, and I always love hearing stories about how folks will come up to me and say, Rob, I heard about this on your show, and I went and saw this, and this happened, and thank you for mentioning them. And so it really does mean a lot, and it really does help out these businesses whenever you tell them, hey, I heard about it here on Hello Huntsville. And, of course, we couldn't be here without Pastor Jason Bay, First Baptist Church here in Huntsville, Harbor of Hope, online at fbchuntsville.org. Jason, I wanted real quick, and we're just going to stay right here on a segment if that's okay.
No problem.
I know we've been talking a lot about, you and I usually open up with kind of some faith and inspiration, and then on the back end of the show, we like to, we always talk about just things going on in the world, and then at the very end, I know we always highlight kind of what's happening here at FBC. So in a way, we've created our own format. I don't know if you've noticed that.
It's beautiful, organic, natural.
Yeah, so it's good. I wanted to stay on a topic real quick, though, just on a faith-based topic, if that's okay. I had posted something the other day, and our friend, you mentioned Dr. Jones. That's why I thought of this. Dr. Jones has, always praying for revival, spiritual revival in our country. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but the other day I had posted, people say that we need a spiritual revival. And I've seen that. I've seen several comments saying this country's in need of a spiritual revival. We need a revival. And my question is, and I don't mean this rudely, but where have you been? Because you and I on this show for months have talked about, even in the public eye, how much that we are seeing the name of Christ proclaimed on TV shows like The Voice and all of these American Idol concerts, The Bachelor, Bachelorette. I'm hearing it on there with my wife when she watches it.
Jelly Roll concert. And Jelly Roll even incorporated Christian music. He collaborated with that other guy that I'm not into music, as you
Brandon
know.
One of them Lake or something. Yeah,
I don't know.
Here.
Anyway, but it just shows you the crossover.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about that, so I posted about it. And I said, young people especially are rising with a fresh hunger for truth and a desire to know God in a deeper way. Why do you think Charlie Kirk's, those debates that he had were so well attended? It's because these young people were desiring, I was thinking on the way to work, Jason, they want to talk, they want to get their message out. They want someone to hear them. Well, what a better platform than a guy that has millions of followers and they know that there's a chance he may post a clip of them. And through that platform, a lot of truth has been exposed, which I think is great. And young people, he gave young people a voice, even people he disagreed with. And so I started thinking, no, if you're posting or saying things that we need a revival, friends, I believe we're truthfully in the middle of one. And I felt like this past Sunday was going to be a record number for many, many churches. And we saw, it's kind of funny here because at first you look out and you're like, man, there's a lot of empty seats. But then it's like within 5 or 10 minutes, the sanctuary was overflowing. I looked around and I said, there's not even hardly a place for people to sit. And it's been such a blessing, too, to see so many young people in those rows. And I bring all this up for a reason, Jason, because I had made that post. And I said, people say I believe we are in the midst of a revival. And I said, this past Sunday, churches across the nation were filled like they haven't been in years. Online, people shared that they went to church for the first time. I saw many people saying, I haven't been to church in years. I saw some other folks posting, I brought my kids to church. We've never been. Boy, that warmed my heart. And I wrote, that's no accident. It's God stirring hearts and drawing people back to him.
Yes.
I posted that, and check this out. The reason I read this, Holly McMichael said this. She has the time to read here in Huntsville. She said, I love seeing what's happening in the lives of high school students because of prayer, faith, and obedience of students in the program, the Bible Buddies. And then my friend who lives out of state, she said this, I asked our Sunday school teacher what's going on with the church and the growth. And he said this past Sunday, our numbers were this. 1,160 were in Sunday school at their church. 1,160 in Sunday school, and 1,280 were in the service. That's almost everybody. That's like 100 of them didn't go to the.
That's a good ratio.
That's really good. And then she said this: we had 100 first-time guests.
Wow.
And she had sent me another message and said, we've never had numbers like that at the church. We have to be careful because numbers are great, but numbers are only great if people are coming to know the Lord in some way. And but I just wanted to bring that up and just get your thoughts because I believe that we are in the midst of a revival. We can't pray that into existence. But I feel like we're in the middle of it, Jason.
Yeah, I see it all over. I see it on our college campuses. I see a young people yearning for something real. Back whenever I was in college, there was kind of this movement of big they call it now concert Christianity. These big things coming together and everybody gathering together and praising God, and those are wonderful. But a lot of times that you leave those events, and I'm not saying we don't go to those events because those events are important, but a lot of times we leave those events and then we kind of go back into our rut, right? But what younger people are looking for is something authentic and real, something that they live out day to day. And so we're seeing it not in big concert Christianity style. We're seeing it in small groups, little groups meeting here for Bible study, little groups meeting here for Bible study. And it's happening all over our college campuses and really all over America. It is an exciting time. Now, it's a different, like I said, these kids are looking for something that's real and authentic. They're looking for real relationships, not something you just attend on Sunday morning and then go back to your regular way of life. They're looking for truth with a capital T.
Check out what Tara says here. Tara Burnett of Hearts Veterans Museum. I love this comment. She said, my youngest son and his friends have had a passion for the gospel ignited in them. Isn't that great, Jason?
Yeah.
She said they are feeling a boldness. Listen at that. They are feeling a boldness. Think about the word bold. It means you're stepping out there.
Yeah.
It's something that you're unashamed. You're unapologetic. They are stepping out in boldness to proclaim their faith. It's amazing to see Christ working in their lives. Boy, wouldn't it be wonderful if what Tara said there is echoed all over not only our community, but all over the nation.
Oh, yeah.
That should be our prayer.
Yeah. Reminds me of that scripture in Acts where it says, the people noticed their boldness and remembered that they had been with Jesus. When you're with Jesus, that's what he desires out of us, that boldness, that courage to step out in faith and share the love of God. And we're seeing that. I want to encourage people to pray for that. We're seeing it occur in so many different areas, and it's a beautiful thing. It's making some people feel uncomfortable, but the gospel and its message and the movement of Christ is always going to make the enemy uncomfortable.
Well, it's a good word, Jason. I wanted to wrap up with one final thing on this segment. As Jason challenged people to pray for that, I want to challenge people to pray for all of our local churches. You know, it's something that we're very intentional here at First about. It's not just about First. We want you to come here. If you don't have a church home, come. We'd love to have you. But we want you to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And we have 42. I think I have a list that I keep of all the churches here in town because I'm very intentional about it, Jason. We are as a staff. I'm very intentional. I pray for these churches, and we do as a staff too. I go through that list. I say, Lord, bless that church. Lord, bless your church.
Yeah.
Bless your church. Grow your church. Bring people to your church. And I want to challenge anyone who's out there this morning, and maybe you're not a person of faith. One, I want to challenge you just to pray. Did you know that you can pray? If you're not a believer, you can pray, and God's going to open up your heart. I truthfully believe that. I really do.
Reach out to him.
Reach out to him. It's just like when you reach out to somebody and you know what, you're waiting on a response. God's going to respond to you. I want to challenge you this morning. Maybe you said, I've heard about this God thing, but I don't know anything about it. Just pray. Start with the prayer. Say, Lord, reveal yourself to me. You know, one of the prayers I said when I was younger, Lord, if you're out there, reveal yourself to me. And all of a sudden I felt like, not like some miraculous moment in the Bible where my eyes were open, but in a way, my eyes were open. I started to see the Word of God in a way that I didn't. And then I started to see the seeds that were being planted because of prayer. And because of that prayer saying, Lord, show yourself to me, I started seeing him in different things. And that's ultimately what led me to accepting Christ through Pastor David Edwards. It was that prayer. I prayed before I was a believer. Didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
For those of you that are a believer, pray. And please pray for unity in our church. And I'm not talking about here at First, but unity in our church. We're all one body if we believe in Christ and the resurrection. Pray that our churches will come together in unity. Now is the time. And we always used to say this, strike while the iron's hot. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the iron is very hot right now. And we need to strike. And we need to continue to build that momentum and not let our foot off the gas pedal.
Absolutely.
Pray.
Good word.
So, well, hey, and we'll just record this, and then on Sunday, Don's going to be here anyways. I was going to say we can start recording Thursdays and just put it up on the screen. You know? Jason will just record you and put you on the screen, man. There's no, you know what though? Can I say one last thing? Some churches, and there's nothing wrong with this. I went to a really large church down in Houston, and one of the largest churches in America. For a while. They didn't have satellite campuses. They didn't need to because they were making a global impact from that one building. I've been to churches, and I was a member of a church. It was a wonderful church, but they would do these video things, like, hey, they would – and I just the video, I got to be in front. I got somebody to be in front of me. I can't do it on a video.
Right.
And I've been in situations to where the pastor wasn't there and they showed it on a video. And I'm like, it just wasn't doing it for me.
Not the same.
Yeah. So Jason will never zoom in and do a sermon for you. I'm just saying that.
Except during COVID, we did that.
Yeah. We had
It's hard to preach into an empty room, but I did it.
You had golf claps in the back. Did y'all have anybody back there like golf clapping?
There was a couple of people. I asked my family to come to when we recorded it, because we recorded it here in the church. We wanted to record it in the church so it seemed like to the people that they were in church. You know? So, but it was so difficult. I mean, preaching to an empty room is hard. But
should have set up a bunch of mannequins.
Well, and it's not just that. You know, it's the things that lead up to that worship. You know, the preaching. You know, the worship, the singing, the Holy Spirit, and not that he wasn't there in the preaching, but the Holy Spirit collectively as we gather together, the Spirit in you, the Spirit in me, as we come together, and the Spirit amongst us. There's power in that, and it's palpable. You know, you can feel it, and that gives you that strength to go forward. And whenever and even though the people are out there, we know they're out there, you know, watching from their homes, and we did have a great number of people that watch, and allowed us to invest in the equipment necessary to make our live stream even better. We were already live streaming at that point, but make it even better. And then going forward there, it really increased our outreach because we had it already set up, you know, and we were already reaching people. So it was a good thing, but it was definitely a hard thing.
I sent Linda a text message on Sunday because as you're preaching, I will pull up our app and go through, and this past Sunday was the highest numbers that we've seen online.
That's awesome.
Since I've been here. And it's nothing that I'm doing or anyone else.
Yeah.
It's because people are hungry for truth, and they're hungry for the Lord, and we're seeing that now.
Definitely.
So. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break. Thank you all for being here. Do us a favor. Let us know that you're out there today and what you're thankful for. Many of you new people are joining the show. I want to give a big thank you to Chris Brown, by the way, from Jump Around Moonwalk. I've nicknamed him Jump Around Chris Brown. He was on the show. Tonight there will be a vigil held down at the courthouse for Charlie Kirk. I think it's great what he's doing. Other people have responded and said, well, why aren't they holding a vigil for this person or that person? And Chris comes at everyone with just a genuine heart for loving people. And he said, man, if you want to do something for anyone else, let me know, and if it's something that I feel passionate about, I'll support you in it.
Right.
And I love that, and that's what it's about. And so I want to encourage you, if there's something that's going on, make that step like Chris did. Chris felt this on his heart, said he wanted to do it, not for him, but he wanted to do it. And so he stepped out, and he's made that happen. And so that'll take place tonight at the courthouse from 7 to 8. It's a peaceful vigil, and there will be law. So he even said if anybody's nervous, there will be law enforcement there to make sure that everything goes peacefully. But come and be a part of that if you can tonight from 7 to 8, not only honoring Charlie Kirk, but honoring other people, honoring this community, and honoring each other in unity, and honoring Christ first and foremost.
You know, you said something there that I think is important to mention, because there is a lot of questions about why is that people going to such extremes for Charlie Kirk? Why is there such a big deal? Well, I think the reason why, it's not just the man, even though we know what he stood for, and his faith was predominant in everything that he did. Everything, he would always correct people that would try to point to him, and he would always point back to the Lord. But it's not just that. I heard someone say this, and I think they made a great point. It's what happened to him is not just an attack on him and his family. It's an attack on the way of life in America. It's an attack on all of us, because when you go and share what you believe in your heart, and you face that kind of opposition, it's an attack on everyone. And I think that's one of the reasons why this is different than another murder. You know, this is not just an attack on an individual, but it's an attack on the way of life here in America, our freedom of speech, being able to stand and have discourse, and be able to agree to disagree, to be able to come together peaceably and have protest. Even if people, I know at every one of his speeches, I had people protesting, which is that's our right. But when that way of life is attacked, it wakes everyone up.
I brought up Chris because many new people I had several people message after the show, said they didn't even know about the show. And they said they're going to be watching now.
Oh, good.
And I don't know if these came, but Maria joining us, Maria Kears, thank you for joining us this morning. Cindy Petruccia joining us.
Yeah.
So great to have y'all on this morning. We appreciate y'all so much. Do us a favor. If you're new to the show or maybe you've been a long-time viewer of the show, just like Mayor Humphrey, who's given us that official, oh, yeah.
Yes.
I need to get Mayor's voice so I can AI it.
Yeah,
use
you
it.
do.
We'll use it whenever we
Definitely.
need it. And I would use it in a great way, Russell. Don't worry, sir. But do us a favor. Let us know what you're thankful for today. That's what this show is about. And don't be embarrassed. I'm not going to call everybody out, but just put a comment on the stream this morning. You know what? When we celebrate what we're thankful for, it inspires other people to be thankful.
Amen.
And so this morning, celebrate what you're thankful for, and even the most minuscule thing that you think is the most minuscule can be the biggest thing that somebody else needed to see today. We'll step aside. We'll take a break as we continue on. Really good segment coming up next. I'm going to give you some, not give you some advice, but I'm going to give you some.
Well, I need advice, brother.
Some fantasy football updates
all right,
also a little bit later.
All right. Stay tuned for that. I know people are on the edge of their seats for Rob's fantasy football updates.
And a huge victory for a certain team.
Coming up next.
Possibly on news you can use. We'll take a break. Stay with us. More to come. This is Good Morning Huntsville here on a very thankful Thursday, brought to you by First Baptist. We'll be right back after this.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
All right, friends, back at it. Thanks for hanging out with us. How about 76 and sunny? Feels like 80 outside right now. And the wind. Look, we even got wind in here now, Jason. Wind, 3 miles per hour. 3 miles per hour out of the southwest.
Nice.
There you go. Southwest wind. Today, again, we're going to get up to 91 scattered thunderstorms, about a 35% chance of rain, 45% chance of showers and possible thunderstorms tomorrow. Other than that, it'll be sunny and 90. And so through the rest of your weekend, a little bit of rain there over the weekend, but nothing too bad. And currently nothing hanging out on the radar. Yesterday there was a few showers that were popping up later in the afternoon. By the way, we've launched our new Hello Huntsville website. It's really cool. You can go to the website, hellohuntsvilletx.com. Got that launched out over the weekend, and it looks pretty similar to what it was before, but it's a lot faster. We have used the power of AI.
Oh.
And so this little weather
careful.
app, all that, yeah, it's hidden back doors in there, Jason.
Uh-oh.
But it's really cool. One thing that we've done, there's a new popular section on the website, so you can go there. You can see what are the most popular articles of the week and how many people are interacting. Just a better way for us to engage with people. You can see daily stats. We've updated our obituary section now that pulls obituaries directly from Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. And so anybody that's under their care, we're going to honor them on our website as well. And a lot of things with the coming soon is on there now. And I'm really excited about our events calendar. That's been totally remapped now. And if you go to our website, again, hellohuntsvilletx.com, the events calendar is there now and super easy to find any events that are going on today or throughout the month. So, again, just go to our website, hellohuntsvilletx.com. So that is your weather and website update. But that's not what we're doing right now, because what we're doing right now is it's that time of the week, everybody. So sit back, crack open a can of orange juice. It's from Studio 1229J. I've never heard anybody crack open a can of orange juice. This is news you can use with Pastor Jason Bay.
All right. Thank you very much, Rob, for that beautiful introduction.
You got your can of OJ ready?
We do have our can of OJ ready, and some news that you can use, hopefully generate discussion around your dinner table and with your family. But first, I want to go out to our correspondent out in the field, Rob Hipp, and get an update on our fantasy football standings.
Hey, quick update from fantasy football. Last week it was a grind, but I defeated my father-in-law, now 2-0 on the season. By the way, just a reminder, I was the reigning champion 2 years ago, came in second last year, already 2-0 this year. The development, though, this year, I was calling a football game, forgot about the draft. I was on auto draft, but I still managed to trade some players. We were just talking about this. Now 2-0. Probably the best part, last week defeated my father-in-law. We didn't even talk smack to each other.
All right.
There's your fantasy update.
I appreciate that, Rob. Thanks for that update. We will be keeping tabs on Rob's standings as he goes throughout the year. All those that want to play fantasy football but don't have the courage to get it together like me, we can live vicariously through Rob and just hold our breath each and every week that the unknown players on Rob's team will make it and score the points that we need to achieve the victory.
I didn't even know 90% of them on my roster.
There we go. We don't know any of them.
Yeah. And my team name, you'll like this, Jason, Mike Drop TDs.
All right. There you go.
Your team name.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Well, that for sure. And then, of course, on my end of news that you don't really care about.
No, we definitely care about
fantasy
this.
football. But the second one is, from my world, is the Aggies defeated Notre Dame,
Yeah.
41-40 last Saturday in South Bend. It was a wonderful time at my house. We had a great exhale, as most Aggies know that when they were going down for that final drive, 4th and 11, on the 11-yard line, needing a touchdown, we all knew that it was going to be incomplete or it was going to be intercepted, because that's just the way Aggie life is. But this time, the story was ended differently. So I'm thankful for that, and we'll see what the future holds. I told someone the other night, they called me and we were talking about it, and I said, yeah, well, the thing about Aggie football is you can have a great victory like that, and then usually that's followed up by about 3 consecutive losses.
So what? I didn't even catch it. So that it was a come from behind victory. Is that what happened?
It was back and forth. It was a really good game. It was back and forth all game long, and it came down to the final drive. There was like 4 minutes left when the Aggies got the ball back. Notre Dame went down and scored. Here's the sad part, really, that the reason why it was 41-40 is because they scored. Notre Dame drove. It was a long drive, like an 8-minute drive, and they had the ball almost the whole entire fourth quarter. They were driving down, they were running the ball, and they got down and scored, and then they went to kick the extra point, and the handler, the holder, mishandled the ball. And he picked it up, and he tried to throw it in for a 2-point conversion. Of course, it was incomplete. So they lost the game essentially because they couldn't convert that extra point.
I have PTSD when you start thinking of the holder, and we have to go back to Seattle. And our boy.
Yep. Tony Romo. It was a Tony Romo incident. It really was in that situation.
And everyone judges him his whole career based on that one incident.
Yeah. Well, and they were talking about this afterwards, is that the NBC camera, like anytime that Aggies would make like a big yardage gain, the camera would go back to that guy, the holder. And so they're like, that's unnecessary. They were talking about it afterwards, like, that's so unnecessary to – I mean, the guy feels bad enough as it is, and now every time the Aggies do something good, they go back to him like, look, here's the guy. This is the guy.
They have arrows going like this.
This is the one. He is the one that dropped it. Poor guy.
Man, that's terrible.
I know it. And I know that to be in that situation, like a kicker on a football team or, those – where the game is so dependent upon you at certain times, you've got to feel like you're just living on an island.
Yeah, man.
You're the hero or the GOAT.
Well, congratulations to the Aggies.
Yes, and you falsely announced last week that the Longhorns were going to play Sam Houston.
Yes.
That's this week.
It's this week, yes.
This week. So we will all be pulling for Sam Houston to do what we know they can do, especially with the way that Arch Manning is currently performing. We know the Bearcats are going to go down there to Austin and make a statement and plant a flag in the middle of that field.
UT's already bashing the Bearcats. They, in front of their student union building outside of DKR, they had an A-frame that says, "What is a Bearcat, anyways?" So the smack talking's already started. But here's something. I do have a wealth of sports knowledge. I just don't talk about it. I'm very well versed in the sports world. I know everything about all of sports.
You know everything. Just stop there, Rob.
Of sports, okay. I can guarantee this. There's 2 things that I'm going to guarantee about this.
Rob's
Saturday.
about to give us a guarantee.
Okay. The first guarantee is the team that scores the most points are going to win. They're the ones that are going to win this game.
Good point, Rob.
Okay, that's number 1.
Take it to the bank. Call your bookie.
Call him now. Number 2, a team that has orange in their colors is going to win that football game.
There you go.
Told you.
So,
and you come back to me, I guarantee you 100%.
When you look at the TV and see all that orange in the stadium, you can say to yourself, wow, the Bearcats were well represented.
They were in the shade of orange, maybe a little bit off.
That's okay.
Because people's, they're
It's the TV. It's the TV.
It's the TV, the tint. You remember the tint control on the old TVs?
Yeah.
It's either the tint or what it is after these Bearcat fans are so faithful and so loyal that they have washed their clothes so many times that it's kind of faded more into that kind of that burnt orange look.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my feedback.
Well, good luck to the beloved Sam Houston Bearcats. We will be rooting for you, and we know you are capable and able to do it. So let's pull it off this weekend.
And I did send Coach Longo a good luck and he responded. I love that guy. He responded and said thanks. We're looking forward to that first one. And it's tough for him. I feel for Coach. He's such a great man, but he's came into a pro. Basically had to rebuild. He's basically rebuilding the program. But he's going to do great things. Just give him some time. It's like Greg Popovich when he came into the Spurs. It took a while, and now he's one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time.
Let me just say, all kidding aside, I do love the Bearcats. Both my parents graduated from Sam Houston State, and it's been amazing what they've done with the university. First of all, the growth that they've received experience there, the new medical school that they've built, the correlation that they have with the community, but also with their sport, their athletic program, and their football team. So I am rooting for them. And they came to Texas A&M, I think it was last year, and we played them. And I was in the stands, and there was a lot of Bearcats around me, and they played really, really well against the Aggies that day. And so, good luck to them, for real.
Amen.
All right, moving on. Some other news that you can use that you might be unaware of. There's a lot going on in our world, but you don't have to comment on this, Rob, unless you just want to. But last night, Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air. He was suspended indefinitely. It's all over the news today. Most people probably have already heard about this. But his show has been suspended indefinitely over some comments he made about Charlie Kirk. And it wasn't about Charlie Kirk. It was about the shooter. He stated in a joke that he was making that the shooter was he basically inferred that the shooter was Republican and that he was a MAGA supporter, because at the initial reports that were coming out, the shooter's family was known to be very conservative, although now the future reports have come out that obviously the boy's views had changed over time and were not in line with the way that his parents viewed. So
I did want to comment on something, if that's okay.
Yeah.
TMZ released a video of Jimmy Kimmel getting into a decoy truck as he was escorted. I wouldn't say escorted, but as he left the ABC studios there in the parking garage. I didn't realize they have decoy trucks that they put these celebrities in. He got into some regular old Dodge pickup truck, you know. That was one thing that I noticed. The second thing is late night TV has not been what it's been in many, many years.
I was going to comment on that.
I almost posted yesterday, but I didn't want to stir it up too much because I don't like to do that. But late night TV, in my opinion, after Jay Leno retired, has been terrible. I'm just going to be honest. It has been absolutely terrible. To me, I have not enjoyed any of the jokes that any of these, and I'm not saying it because I typically lean more conservative than liberal. I'm saying it because it is not what it was when I was growing up. I loved watching David Letterman as a child. He poked fun at both sides.
Yeah.
It has been completely one-sided since Leno left. The jokes aren't funny. Their ratings have plummeted. And honestly, I don't even know how they're still going.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, good. And Jimmy Kimmel had already said, anyways, he was going to probably quit after a couple of years because he knew his ratings weren't that high like they used to be. Mm-hmm. But late night TV has not been what it needs to be. Letterman was fun. I even remember Johnny Carson as a child. I loved watching Johnny Carson from what I remember of him, before he passed when I was younger. But it was Carson. To me, the big three were this. It was Carson, David Letterman when he took over for Johnny Carson, and Jay Leno. Yeah. Those were the three, and nobody has matched anything remotely close to the entertainment that those guys brought.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is the death of late night TV as it has been consumed in the past with not only Jimmy Kimmel, but what's the other guy's name that recently announced that they're not renewing his show.
I don't know. I don't keep up with any of them.
But I think not only because of that, but also just because of the way that people consume media these days is completely different. TV ratings in general are down, and it's just the way that people consume media has definitely changed over the last 10 years.
FBC live stream ratings are up.
There you go. Get your news right here. All right. I wanted to bring you an article from To Lighten the Mood on Reader's Digest.
Yes.
Now, Reader's Digest is one of Rob's go-to.
It's the go-to, brother.
The go-to. It keeps you updated on all your benefits you get as a senior citizen, but it has some great articles in here too. All right. TSA is cracking down on this common personal hygiene item in your luggage. This is a travel issue, and it's something that the TSA agents are finding in a lot of bags, and this is a warning to all the people to remove this item from your baggage. Can you think of it?
No, I cannot. Out of your bags, it's something you have to remove.
Yeah, and it's a personal hygiene item. And what it is electric toothbrush, battery operated, because of the batteries that are in the toothbrush. When the pressure of the plane gets up, they can explode and overheat and catch fire in your luggage. So they're reminding everybody to please not pack these. And nowadays, a lot of people use electric toothbrushes, battery-operated toothbrushes. That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you, do you use that battery-operated toothbrush? Is it one that you can recharge, or is it one that you just use and throw away? Now, even the disposable ones many of the disposable ones are even battery-operated.
No, mine it's one that you set on a stand.
And it recharges?
Got it on Amazon, and a dentist told me this. When you use those, you're not supposed to sit there and scrub with them.
Oh, really?
You kind of let them do the work for you.
Okay.
Because I started having a receding gum for some. He was like, "Do you have an electric toothbrush?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "And do you like go down on it like you do a regular toothbrush?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Stop doing that. It's bad for your gums."
Oh, wow.
He said, "Let it do the work. You still move it, but
yeah.
So there you go.
Makes
News you
sense.
can use.
There you go. See, Rob, this is the whole purpose of this: is to discuss it and to go deeper into the story. So there you go. Not only do you know not to pack a toothbrush in your luggage, but also, if you got an electric toothbrush, let it do the work. I mean, you heard it right here. Rob is informing us. All right. We've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks, but this is a new article that just came out on NBC DFW. And it's a local news story, and it said the title of the article is "What is Cheating?" Now, we're going to talk about relationship cheating.
Yeah, I was going to say, in what context?
In schools, the rise of AI tools are forcing schools to reconsider what counts as cheating. So, in your mind, it says right here, at the very onset of the article, the book report is now a thing of the past. Take-home tests and essays are obsolete. High school and college educators say student use of AI has become so prevalent that assigning writing outside of the classroom is like asking students to cheat. So what do you think is cheating when it comes to AI?
Telling it to do all the work for you.
Yeah.
I think it's great for outlines. And what I do in my college work is I'll take the directions of an assignment, and this is where it's really cool. And see, colleges should like this. Professors should like, because college professors want you to think, right? They're thought-provoking, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I do with the AI is I get it to get me to think. And what I'll tell it is I'll say, here's my assignment. Ask me relevant questions to help me respond to this assignment. Mm-hmm. And it gets me to think. Mm-hmm. I started doing that recently. Mm-hmm. And then it gives me an outline that I can start to write and develop a really good paper. And so, perfect example, last night I had a forum post, and it was about something about the Holy Spirit and the impact on certain things, and how do I feel the Holy Spirit moving in my life. I asked the AI, I said, give me some questions to help me think about this. Mm-hmm. And man, it gave me 10 questions. And Jason, I sat there for an hour thinking about it, and it was the greatest thing. And I started using AI more and more in that way. But when you tell the AI, hey, here's an assignment, write this paper for me, and then that's it, that's cheating.
So here's what the article says. I think you're barking up the right tree. It says, take, for example, a once typical high school English assignment. Write an essay that explains the relevance of social class in The Great Gatsby. Many students say that their first instinct is to ask ChatGPT for help brainstorming. Within seconds, Chat yields a list of essay ideas, examples, and quotes to back them up. The chatbot ends by asking if it can do more. Would you like help writing any part of the essay? I can help you draft an introduction or outline a paragraph. Students say they often turn to AI with good intentions for things like research, editing, or help reading difficult text, but AI offers unprecedented temptation, and it's sometimes hard to know where to draw the line.
Yeah, I think when you get to that point to where it's starting to spit out exact text and writing things for you, that's where there's a problem. I'll take my ideas and I'll put it in there and I'll say, hey, I don't really like how this sounds. Can you help me formulate this more to sound the way that I want it to or something? And then it gives me new ideas. That's how I use it.
Yes. So whenever I went to my son, he's my oldest son, his new student orientation at Texas A&M, we went with him 3 years ago. And when he started as a freshman at Texas A&M. And I remember we sat through the new student orientation. They go through all this, but one of the things is use of AI. And they were telling the students at that point, hey, if you get caught using AI, or if you get caught by using, teachers can run through a AI detector or whatever to determine. And if you're going to be put on academic probation. And you're going to have to appear before a committee of people to determine your eligibility to graduate, or at least get a 0 in the class. And what they do on your transcript is they put an asterisk by that grade, and it lets everybody know on your transcript that the reason you got a F in that class is because of academic not dishonesty. When I went 3 years later, this past year,
They changed it all.
they
right?
had changed it all. When I went with Abigail, they were like, we understand. I mean, the speech was totally different. It's like, we understand that in our culture that your AI is a thing of the future. It's a thing of the present. And they were like, we understand this is a reality, that this is something that can be used and needs to be used, but used responsibly. So their response then was, be sure to check with your professor to understand what they think is proper use of AI. So they pretty much passed the buck. They said, okay, we're not gonna turn it back.
They're worried
over.
about losing money. People not attending college is what it came down to.
Yeah, but I think you're right. This is something that is going to really affect education, and I think the way that schools and students and teachers approach this is going to make a lot of difference. Because at the end of the day, students still need to learn how to write. They need to learn how to write. And I believe that in our school, in the high school that my kids go to, they have eliminated use of phones, computer. In certain classes, you can't have any of that, just so they can teach them without that temptation to just allow chat to do everything for them.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've learned. It's helped me, and it's actually improved my writing style. And, going into composition classes now, I understand how to write your thesis statement. I always put it as the last sentence of my first paragraph. I use keywords in the opening sentences now of each new paragraph. I reiterate it at the end of each paragraph. Those are all things that maybe I learned in high school, but I forgot. And I'll tell you what, I've really learned how to get my ideas across on paper more now, thanks to those classes, but also thanks to the way that the AI has helped me.
Yeah, if you allow it to help you and you read it, it does use the way it organizes things is pretty convenient, and it will teach you. There are telltale signs, and there was an article about this not too long ago, but one of the telltale signs of AI usage is what, Rob? Tell the people.
M dashes, the M dashes, and you said a word a while ago that AI always uses. Palpable.
Oh, really?
It'll say palpable. It'll say certain phrases like, "This is a testament of ... or this is." It'll use, and I forget there's a actual like literary term for
jargon.
Yeah, jargon. Yeah, but it'll always say something that's like, "This is not only a ... This is a ...
Yeah, yeah.
And so as I read articles, I was reading one from the New York Post earlier today. I was like, it's completely AI fabricated.
Yeah.
I use AI so much that I know when I see stuff.
Yeah.
And those M dashes are a telltale sign. Because how do you even, I don't even know how to put that on the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
All right.
Hey, I know you're doing news you can use. This is important news.
Yes.
Because you mentioned My Magazine a while ago.
Here we go.
Did you happen to see this in the background?
No.
There it is, buddy.
All right. There's Rob just checking it out.
Got my double.
Well, that's an intense Reader's Digest magazine. The ones I remember were extremely small.
Well, I'm older. I can't
Yeah, you
see.
got the cane.
There you go. News you
You
can
need a
use.
top hat with that cane.
That can be done.
All right. In other news, a hiker was airlifted to a hospital after a surprise bear attack in Yellowstone. This incident was the first recorded bear attack in the national park since 2021. Apparently, he was on a trail, and while he was walking along, he surprised a grizzly bear. Now, he did have with him bear spray, and he used the bear spray on the bear, but the bear attacked him anyway, and he was found by some park officials, and they were able to airlift him out and get him to a hospital, and he survived and will make a full recovery.
Praise the Lord for that.
What do you think about bear attacks?
I think the bear spray didn't work. It may have been expired. The best thing to carry is Axe body spray because that stuff stinks. So praise God the guy's okay. I'm not making light of that, but the bear spray obviously was expired.
Well, I was thinking to myself when I read this, they always tell you to carry bear spray when you go into these trails, but the man was following the rules. I mean, he was doing what you're supposed to, and it didn't work for him. So, I mean, there you go. Beware the bear.
Well, I think
bear 1, man 0.
See, Paul Harvey needs to have the rest of the story on this one.
Yeah.
Because we need to know what kind of bear spray, when it was purchased, where it was purchased from, when did it expire.
True.
I would probably guess that he probably bought it off Amazon.
Maybe.
Because everybody buys everything on Amazon. Probably bought the bear spray on Amazon. It's probably a knockoff brand, and really what it was just water in an aerosol can.
Maybe so, Rob. But they say that one of the mistakes that he did make was that he was hiking alone. And when you're hiking alone, if something did happen like it did, he's very fortunate that they were able to find him and rescue him in time to get him to a hospital. It says the hiker was trekking solo on Turbid Lake Trail when he encountered the bear thought to be a grizzly and attempted to ward it off using the spray. But anyway, he's going to make a full recovery, so prayers go out to him. But be careful when you're on those trails. If you head up to Yellowstone, watch out for the bears. All right, I wanted to give you this information. 7 best foods to eat before bed for uninterrupted sleep.
Talking about like in the bed or like
right before bed. And
right
it says
before bed,
also what not to eat. So these are the 7 foods that to eat, but also they give you some things that you should not eat. So it says that you could the best foods to snack on before bed are nuts or seeds with fresh fruit and nut butter, Greek yogurt, hummus and veggies, cheese with fruits and nuts. This one surprised me. Popcorn, open-faced sandwich. That sounds weird. Or any kind of creative protein and fiber combination. Now, the thing it says not to eat before bed is any kind of soda. Also, any sugary foods. The sugary foods will prevent you from getting a good night's sleep. You think about it, a lot of people eat dessert at night for their last meal, have a bowl of ice cream or something like that. Maybe that's why I'm not sleeping well at night.
Well, look on my nightstand, and I'll usually have an empty Coke Zero can, empty little Hershey's, the little small Hershey's Kiss, the little Hershey's chocolate bar, the little tiny ones. Those are usually wrappers that are laying next to my. It's not good.
But you're losing 10. You've already lost 10 pounds in 1 week. What's the secret, Rob?
I'll just get the gut ache.
Yeah, that will do it.
Two Fridays ago, it felt like somebody was. I was worried it was pancreatitis. I went to the doctor, and then something happened here. Look at that bruise, man. And when they hit me for the blood, it bruised up. But yeah. Anyways, my I think I've just been, there's been a lot going on the past 2 weeks, and I think luckily my lipase levels were fine. But yeah, the old stomach was turned like grandmother wringing water out of a cloth.
This is a very interesting story that came out this week. The title of the article is "A Surgical Team Was About to Harvest This Man's Organs Until His Doctor Intervened." Now, in this situation, this man that was ruled brain dead. He had taken a gunshot to the head, and he was ruled brain dead on the table. And they were just about to remove him off of the machine, and they were about to harvest his organs for use for other people. And his doctor, his neurosurgeon, he came back in to the room, and he says, "I don't care if we have consent. I haven't spoken to the family, and I don't agree with this. Get him off the table." They did remove him off the table, and over a period of time, the man did recover. He still is working on some of his movements and things like that, but this man was an example of someone who was about to be removed from life support, about to have his organs harvested, and he lived to tell the story about how this one doctor came in and saved him. You ever worry about that? Are you an organ donor?
Mm-hmm. I am. Yeah, a friend of mine, Ty taught me, he had a transplant because of that, and he said it saved his life. And so you just check off a box on your driver's license.
I am too.
I don't need it.
Yeah, I know it. But it makes you, this article like this makes you second guess.
Well, have you ever heard of the story of Martin Pistorius?
No.
So Martin Pistorius was brain dead or so they thought, for 12 years. Something happened, an automobile accident. He was young at the time, and basically kind of like a vegetable in a way. You hear that. I hate to use that term because to me it just sounds derogatory, but that's the way it's described. But this poor young person was confined to a wheelchair and could not move or do anything. And he would blink his eyes, but that was it, They had to feed him. They had to do everything. Well, the caretaker would just throw him in front of Barney all day long. And one day, by the grace of God, a very compassionate nurse had noticed eye movements that just didn't seem right to her. And she took time to start figuring out, is he trying to communicate with me? Turns out he was. Turns out that he was completely aware of every single thing that was going on. And through his eye movements, they developed a way to communicate. And he's actually written a book. But he talks about the horrors of being trapped in his own body and no one knowing that he was there for 12 years. How scary is that? And hating Barney. He said, "I'm so sick and tired of Barney," is what he said. But he's written books now. Isn't that scary, though, to think about that? Man.
He says in this article, it's a long article, but in this article he talks about the same thing, that when he was laying there, he couldn't move. He could move his hand. He felt like he could move his hand just a little bit, but he could hear everything that was going on in the room. He could hear them talking about him. He could hear the music. And it just goes to show you, doctors say that hearing is sometimes the last thing to go. And any time that I go into to visit somebody that's really sick, that's in ICU, and I always talk to them because that's what they say. They can still hear you, and so talk to them and give them. He said that. Listen to what he says. He says, "I'm hearing. I'm good, sis. I'm okay." He says, "I got to hitting my hand on the side of the ICU bed. They were like, that's just the reaction, the side effects of the medicine. Ask him some questions." Payne, said she asked her brother to blink twice if he could remember his first pet, a dog named Little Black that looked like a Chihuahua from the Taco Bell commercials. Black says he remembers blinking twice. His sisters remember the same. She asked him another question. This time she wanted to know whether her brother recognized the family. Black said he blinked twice and he saw his mom and sister standing nearby. She's like, if you want them to pull the plug, if you're tired and you're giving up, blink once. Black recalled, if you still got some fight in you, blink more than once. Black said he started blinking and hitting the bed to let his family know that he was still with them.
Wow.
The sister said the hospital staff told them that the movements were involuntary.
That's terrible. I think it's just, yeah. Well, it's not terrible because it goes on to have a good ending that this man's life was saved.
Yeah, one man came in. His neurosurgeon said, "I believe there's still a chance." But it's an interesting story. I wanted to close with this. This is somewhere around 40. It happened. These are the things that make people realize they were definitely not young anymore.
Oh no.
I want you to see if you can relate to any of these things. I walked into the grocery store, and the grocery store is playing my jams. That's one sign you're getting older. I don't know what our local
They don't play
stores.
Tupac and Notorious B.I.G., so it's not playing much.
It takes 2 scrolls to get to your birth year when you register for an app.
Yes, that's happening now. Yeah. That's a good one.
Let's see. Let me read a couple of more here. Falling asleep in the recliner at 8:30 p.m. no matter what movie I'm watching. So my kids always tell me, Dad, we can't take you to the movie because every time we go to the movie, you fall asleep.
I fall asleep at the theater too. Do you do that?
I do that, and I'm like, okay, well, that's even more reason to go to the theater so I can get some peace.
Is can't go to the bathroom without a bidet in that list?
No, we can add it. We can write it in. Not wanting to drive at night. When did this happen?
I don't like driving at night. That's
let's
funny.
See. Taking 2 weeks to recover after sleeping on my pillow wrong. I
My
know
neck.
this. Yeah, your neck hurts. Teen fashion looks silly, and their music is just noise.
It's terrible. It's horrible. Yeah.
Let's see. Going downstairs. My knees sound like someone is playing with bubble wrap. My neck, my back. Getting super excited about a new appliance in the house. Getting excited when I have nothing planned for the weekend.
Yeah, I love that. I don't want anything planned for the week for Saturday. I just want to sit at home.
Taking up an interest in migratory birds.
My poor uncle, he used to have, he was neat as a kid, but he had a little, kind of one of those, what do you call those little windows that kind of stick out of the wall? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He had like a little sitting area like that, in his dining room, but there was a window that had a little, it kind of stuck out of the wall, and he had binoculars. And I said, "What are these for?" And he goes, "Oh, sit there and watch the birds."
Having to Google slang words.
I do that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't understand. Like
Have the
vibe.
stuff- yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
No cap. You know what that means?
Uh-uh.
All right.
Have
We're
to
moving
look
on.
that
Google
one
it.
up.
Google it. Your doctor, your dentist, and your optometrist are all younger than you.
Yeah.
When the candles for your birthday cake cost more than the cake itself. Oh, man. These are just some. There's a bunch more. But when the people you used to watch on TV as a youngster all look old now.
Man, no joke. Adam Sandler just turned 60. Like, how did that happen?
Starting to look forward to eating oatmeal.
Those are all true. Man.
Oh, me too. It's
The
sad
final
part about
one,
getting older.
When you get in and out of the truck, do you grunt?
Yes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I grunt every single time I even know in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna grunt. And what do? I grunt.
I always sigh, and I do this. And Kim's like, "Why are you always doing that? What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for?" I don't know. I need to quit it. I'm getting, I'll be 50 in January. It just time goes by so fast. This weekend.
Yeah, let us know what's happening here first.
Well, I'm going back to. I'm going back to the first church that I ever pastored in Waco. I pastored full time there. It was Kim and I. We just gotten married, and I took that church. It was It was such a blessing. I was such a naive youngster at the time, and the people there were so loving, and they treated me so kindly. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary of their church, and they asked me to come back and preach there.
Oh, cool.
And I haven't been back there in probably 20 years, and I know they're all going to think to themselves, man, he sure did get old. And I'm probably going to look at the congregation and say the same thing. Boy, they sure got old. But I will not be here this Sunday, but Don is going to do a great job here. He's going to preach on Nehemiah chapter 6, which is a great passage of Scripture. Last week we talked about how when you step out for the Lord's work, you get a target on your back. And the enemies, and when Nehemiah was trying to do the Lord's work, the enemies attacked the people in chapter 4. And in chapter 6, the enemy now, when he can't distract the people, the enemy is attacking the leader, Nehemiah himself.
Wow.
And I think we all need to be aware the enemy is at work. And when you do try to step out and do God's work, the enemy is going to come against you. And in the passage, you'll see that the enemy makes up lies about you, and the enemy will question your motives. Well, you're doing this for all the wrong reasons. And the enemy will plot against you to try to trap you. And I think everybody out there is a leader in some respect, whether you're a leader of your family, whether you're leading kids in a classroom, somebody's looking up to you. And when you lead, you always need to be aware of the enemy, because he is going to try to bring you down. His goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. So this message by Don this Sunday will be very impactful. I know it will be.
That is good, Jason. And you're so right, because I caught myself not intentionally, but feeling woe is me. And you can't live in that mindset. You got to realize life happens. You got to stay in faith. And here's what Josh taught me too. You got to have faith over fear. You have to be a victor, not a victim. Doesn't mean that you're going through something bad. Doesn't mean something terrible. But, man, you got to choose victory, because it's already been won.
Amen.
Well, cool. Looking forward to it. Come visit us, 1045. Wednesday Night Live, continuing to thrive. That's been a great ministry here at First. There's so many opportunities. I saw someone this morning saying, where can I get plugged in for me and my family? And I responded right away. Said, come to First. We'd love to have you. But if you don't come here, get plugged in somewhere.
Amen.
Hey, Huntsville, we love you. We'll be back tomorrow. Terry Coleman, our real estate, I like saying our real estate expert. She's our real estate expert on Hello Huntsville. She'll be here tomorrow along with Billy Cawthon as we wrap up this week and celebrate all things good in Huntsville. Remember, tonight we'll have the Charlie Kirk Vigil organized by Chris Brown. He's asked everybody to bring a candle. He has the holders. You bring the candle. And come tonight at 7 o'clock, and let's unite as a community and unite in faith, which will be so important. Until then, thank you to Joshua Mashi helping us behind the scenes. For Jason Bay, I'm Rob Hipp, reminding you we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there needs you. Until tomorrow morning at 7:30, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We will see you back then. Jason, a fun show today. Thank you, my friend, and God bless you.
Thank you.